will AI take your job? Now this question is quite frequently asked these days. If you will check LinkedIn, if you are talking to your colleagues, this question will pop up, and it's an important question because this question affects your future, right? This question affects whether your future is secure or your future is not secure. So in this video I'll be answering this question, and I'll be answering it quite openly. I won't make any fake promises. This is like a complete spitting the fact like a video. So let's dive right into the question. Okay, what our question is, and what all things we'll see in this particular video. So what are we going to discuss? The biggest question is, will AI take your job, right? So will AI take my job? Okay, let's be positive. Okay, so will AI take my job? This is the question that we are going to discuss in this video, guys, and it's quite a important question, as I told you. So now what we will be discussing, I'll break down the discussion into some points. So we will be discussing first of all what AI can do for you, right? What AI can do, AI capabilities. Okay, capabilities, we'll be discussing on AI capabilities. Then we will discuss about what AI cannot do, what AI cannot do. Then we will discussing about jobs that are at risk, jobs which will go, and I'm 100% sure these jobs will go, and I'll give you a proper reason for it. Okay, and then the last topic, that what I need to do, what I need to do. Okay, so we'll talk about these 4 topics, and trust me, at the end of this video you will be happy that okay, you saw this video, and they'll answer your questions. They'll give you proper things that you have to do to make yourself secure of this AI revolution. First thing, what are the capabilities of AI? See, AI helps you fix the code, AI can help you write the code, and AI can help you give creative ideas. These are the main capabilities of artificial intelligence. There what are the logic behind it, how it is doing, let's keep that for a later video. But in this video, just understand that AI can help you fix your code, AI can help you write your code, and AI can also help you get creative ideas. Okay, so it has 3 major capabilities: write and fix code. So write / fix code, this is one capability, and the other capabilities is your creative ideas. So once it has these 2 capabilities, now you can compare it to a simple employee. Okay, when an employee is in a company, and first of all, let's discuss, guys, why this is a big capability. See, most of our work today, the IT revolution, is backed up by codes, right? We have codes that does works for us, and the codes had done a lot of automation in the work, like the whole industrial revolution. Then we had technical revolution. So the technical revolution is standing on a pillar of coding, right? Now what AI can do for us, it can write code, it can fix code, right? And the other thing is, it can produce creative ideas. Now creative ideas, something like, let's say I'm working and I have this problem, okay, how should I present this work? And then I can ask AI to give you, okay, let's make a presentation, or let's show a documentation, what will be a better idea. Those things it can do for you. Now these are the main capabilities of AI, these 2 major capabilities. Okay, these things you can do, right? In easy terms, ye sab wo kar sakta hai. In Hindi we can talk that. So now once we have these things, what AI can do, now there are some aspects which AI cannot do. Okay, so first of all, you can compare your job to these 2 roles: writing and fixing code and giving creative ideas. That's what I do, that's what many people out there are doing. But still let's carry on the discussion, because this is not the end, right? This is just one topic that we want to discuss. What are the capabilities of AI? Now coming to a next topic, that would be our what AI cannot do. So the one thing that AI cannot do is execution. Now what is execution? Execution means actually implementing something out there in the market, right? AI can think of a creative idea, right? Okay, there should be an app that does this. Okay, now AI can also prepare your code for that particular app, fine. But the whole thing AI cannot do. AI cannot engage to your customers, AI cannot do marketing for you, AI cannot do proper systematic arrangements of code for you, and then AI cannot deploy a code, AI cannot make your code live at a specific time. Whole complete cycle AI cannot do. So basically the one thing that AI is lacking is your execution, right? When it's come to actually implementing things, it needs guidance, it needs steps, it needs proper suggestion. Okay, when you have to do this or how you have to do this, that thing it has multiple knowledge, right? But it'll need some instruction, it'll need some guidance ki, hey, you have to implement this particular code, and you have to do this at this particular time, you have to deal with this problem in a certain way. Those things you have to do with your with your execution, right? And that thing artificial intelligence cannot do. Next thing is your decide on execution, of course, as I'm talking, right? So decide on execution basically means that if I have an application in mind and I'm launching that application in one city, now do I have to launch this application in another city or not? AI will give you a suggestion, hey, you should this will be the advantage and disadvantage of doing that launch, but do you have to go for that launch or not? That is basically a decision on execution. There's just one example, there are many other examples that can come out. What all other things I will have to keep in mind when deciding for execution. Next thing would be connect to business. Of course, see, when we are talking about one part of AI, so one part of AI is data science, right? So I am a data scientist, so I can talk a lot about this thing. So when I talk about data science, there are two aspects of data science. There's a technical part and then there's a business part. Okay, so this is basically a business part in data science. Okay, business part in data science, and a data scientist has to keep a business aspect in mind while building its algorithm, while building its model, right? Similarly, in case of data analyst, when you build insight, the only criteria that you have to keep in mind is whatever insights they're generating, let's say generating a bar graph or line graph, all those line graph or bar graph, any sort of insights, any sort of KPI should relate to business value. Otherwise there's no point of it. If your KPI, if your value, if your numbers are not relating to business, if I cannot connect those numbers to a business value, to a monetary value, they are of no use, right? So a big part of that comes from business side, and AI has to understand it. It has to learn to connect business to numbers, right? And that part is a little lacking in AI, because see, again, this thing requires a human touch. There are certain human behavior aspects that are missing out in the AI, right? And it will take time to learn. As of now it is not there, and that is why we are discussing it, that these things that AI cannot do. The other thing is out of the box thinking. So now, out of the box thinking. Out of the box thinking is not something you might be saying, okay, I asked some ideas from AI, it gave me ideas, so that is out of the box thinking. No, that is not out of the box thinking. Out of the box thinking means that something that has not been done yet, right? So for example, if you will recall that there was a Zomato ad I guess a year ago, where they had one recording of a Bollywood personality, and then they were playing the same recording with different words in it through AI. So they used image AI there, and they did like one ad, the actor will say something else, and other same video, but the actor will say a name of some other shop, right? There was an ad of Zomato. So in those cases, that was an out of the box idea, right? Those kind of idea could not be suggested by AI, because what AI is doing, what ChatGPT is doing, ChatGPT basically is your large language model. It can access the whole data over internet and give you the result. So it's accessing the data over internet, right? It is not creating new ideas. It is just giving you a summary of good ideas, right? So that is why AI is still lacking in out of the box thinking. You can get a lot of help, you can get a lot of ideas, but those ideas are already there on internet. It's just helping you summarize them in a proper way, and reducing your time to go for that search. So these are some points that AI cannot do. It cannot do execution, it cannot connect your data to business, and it cannot do an out of the box thinking. Now we have done two things till now. We have seen what AI can do, we have seen what AI cannot do in terms of your job, right? There are many capabilities, but just narrowing down to in terms of simple job requirements, that what AI can do and what it cannot do. Now based on these two things, let me tell you who are the job description. I'm not talking about people, because it will be a bit cruel who are the people, but let's talk about who are the specific job description, or which are the specific job description, to be proper, that will lose the job, or they are more prone to get thrown out. So basically, if you are working a tool specific job, Now, what is a tool specific job? Tool specific job is something that you have to deal with when you are specializing in a tool, right? So let's say I'm working in a company, and that company is based on a tool. Okay, the company is based on a tool, and like the whole thing, it depends on the tool itself, and then they are selling that tool. CRM is one example, the core CRM, and there are other example as well, right? For example, banking applications, right? So if you are working in technical part of banks where you are dealing with this application, then your job at risk. Why? Because tool specific job are something which does not allow you to do much of a creative thinking. There are some functionalities, there are some specific functions or logics that are there in a tool, and more experience you have, more you can access those functionalities, more you know about those functionalities, more you can connect different functionalities together. But at the end, those are limited, right? You cannot do anything out there, and integration is hard. That is most important part. Integration is quite hard. So if you're working in a tool specific role, let me be more specific. If you're working, let's say, as a Power BI developer or a Tableau developer, then your whole work is toward Power BI, whole of your work is toward Tableau, and you don't know anything else, you are at risk, right? Because these tools, there are two aspects. Why you are at risk? There are two aspects. First of all, it might be the case that the need of these tools would be eliminated. Okay, if I'll give you example, in Google Colab, I used to use Google Colab a lot for my machine learning applications and all that thing, and there was a part of EDA that is like 70% of machine learning algorithms, right? EDA. So in EDA we make charts. So for those charts we use pandas data frames. This gives data in table. Okay, so this was around 4 years ago. I used to query on these pandas data frame, make different table, make different charts, and there are many steps to do in between. Now I'm not sure this thing is I don't think this thing is yet present in Google Jupyter notebooks, but if you're doing in Google Colab, you will have a button of analyze here, and you will just click on that button of analyze, or you can access the pandas data frame as well, right? So it eliminates the need of writing pandas code here. It will just give you the insights directly that it feels it's relevant. Same thing is there in Excel as well. Okay, if you're working as an Excel analyst, because I'm a specialist in Microsoft Excel, right? And you know a lot of shortcuts as well, which people think it's a good thing to remember shortcut, but I think it's a waste of time, right? So now if you're working as an Excel analyst, your whole work is based on Excel, and you work on creating charts and all. So there's a button on Excel, you select your data, you click that button of analyze there, and it will give you the most appropriate charts, most appropriate pivot tables that can be gathered out of that data, right? So this is the idea. There's a first idea that tool specific jobs are risky, first of all because tools are developing themselves, and the number of functionality that you are required to do manually, that will decrease. Okay, second thing is that complete tool can be replaced. Okay, that is the biggest advantage, and I think for companies, the big advantage for companies, that they could have one tool that does it all, right? Or they could have one environment that does it all. For example, again, you could have done Excel analysis, or you can do all of your analysis in Excel, or you can use some services on Google Azure or Google Colab that does the same for you, right? You don't need to do Excel separately, right? You have like, instead of this software, you're moving to a different software, because these kind of jobs are always risky, and also these kind of jobs will limit you to a specific company, specific organization, and specific group of people. If I am using this particular tool, right? If I am using this particular tool, and I am looking for different jobs, right? Let's say I want to change my job, I just want to change my company, but my skills is that I have specialized in this particular tool. This is my skill, that I have specialized in this particular tool, and now I am looking for a different job. So obviously the companies that I look for would be companies that are using these tools, right? And that will actually create a filter on the amount of companies that I can apply for. Okay, so that is the third reason when you are having a tool specific job. Let's summarize it once. Number one, your tools can update themselves, right? Your tools can update themselves, and in that case the amount of manual work you do will be reduced. The other one is that your jobs are limited, right? When you're working specific tool, jobs are limited. And the last one is your whole tool could be shut down and then you will be jobless, and because you're specialized in something that is not being used. Okay, so that is one reason. If you are working in a tool specific role, you have to be more general, right? You have to be more generalized instead of specialized. There's a complete theory of generalization versus specialization. I can talk about that, but that will just come out of the context of the video. But here you can just understand it's more towards generalization rather than specialization. If you're specializing in something, let it be something that is used widely and everywhere. For example, cloud, you can specialize in cloud, right? Okay, I'm a cloud architect. That is kind of a all-rounder kind of a job, because there are many opportunities in that, right? But you're specializing in one specific tool, then you are at risk, because there are multiple factors that can affect the future of you and the tool that you're working on. Next thing would be your documentation based role. So let me tell you a good story. So recently I've been working on RAG framework, which basically is it's like this. What I can do, I can have the chat GPT model, okay, and I can teach my document to it. Okay, let's say I have a document and the document has several steps, or let's say it's a simple SOP. SOP, if you don't know, it's basically a document of instruction of how to use something. Let's say I have prepared a documentation on how do you configure a specific virtual machine on Azure. Okay, let's have prepared documentation of that, and there's a specific role in my company of people who come up, we hire them and we teach them the documentation. Hey, practice on this documentation and then do this. Okay, so now what I have prepared, and this is a common thing, if somebody or some of your friends is working as an AI engineer or an MLOps engineer, you can discuss this thing with them, that what I have done, and this I can guarantee guys, because this kind of project I have done in my own portfolio, so I know this is the strength of this project. So what I have done in this project is that I have taken this document and I have passed this document to my LLM model, and then my LLM model has learned this document and other information that it has gathered over internet, and it has merged to these two documents. So basically I have an employee now who has all the information of the internet and this documentation, and he specializes in documentation, and it has all the information of the internet, right? And it can work as long as it can work 24 hours 7 days a week. That is basically your RAG framework. So all the roles that are document based would be removed. If there is a SOP of your role that can be made, if I can write the instructions for you, hey, you are hired and these are the things that you have to do, and I'll give you that slip, hey, do all these things for me, your job is at risk, because all of those things can be easily read by a machine and it can do that for you. Okay, next people who are at risk is if you have a rule based role. It's quite a similar to documentation based, but rule based basically means that if there are certain rules to your role, right? For example, let's take a simple manual job. Okay, let's say a simple manual job is that, let's say, work at a grocery counter, that people bring up grocery and you just sign up them and just produce a bill. So there are rules to your job. Okay, hey, pick up the grocery, scan the bar on that, sum the bill up, take the money, done. These are the fixed rule of your job. There's a proper if-else statement, hey, if there's no barcode on that roll, bring a different item. So if all of the tasks are rule based, again you can say if all of those can be documented, if all of those can be written down, your job at risk. This is the third kind of people who job is at risk, and this kind of serious because this constitute a lot of people, right? A major portion of our economy are people who are unskilled in technical thing and they are doing manual work or rule based roles, and they are at risk because machines will be cheaper, right? And working in this capital based environment, companies and decision makers, stakeholders will go towards a cheaper option and they'll put machines there. It's already been in use. I'll give you example of, let's say, self check-in, right? If you go to airports, you have option of self check-in, right? Sooner every part would be self check-in and the guy who's sitting behind the counter, the job would be gone, right? So again, these were the third kind of people. So now we have discussed 3 points, guys. what AI capabilities are, and then we discuss what AI cannot do, and then we discuss what are the roles that are at risk. Okay, now comes the most important part, that what you have to do, what you have to do. Okay, now before answering this question, let me tell you clearly, we have still not answered the question that will AI take your job or not. And to be honest, that is a quite a vague question. Okay, there are certain aspects to it, and like it cannot be answered in yes or no. There are multiple factors, and in this video we are just discussing those factors, and at the end your own will be available to answer this question, will AI take your job or not. So what you have to do, next question is what is expected of me in if I have to save my job, what is expected of me. Okay, this is what you should do, Shumankit, and in that case you would be able to save your job, or you will be future secure. So first thing that I need to do is I start using the AI tool first. Okay, so it's not hard thing, just open LinkedIn, open any Instagram, and just follow people who are producing good content. And I'm not talking about any cringe or entertainment content, just look for some productive content, you will see what I'm talking about. If you have not yet encountered, my feed actually has been full of these kind of video where people come up and they say, okay, 10 AI tools that will save your life, 5 AI tools that will make you 100% productive, and all those kind of videos. And those are actually true, because there are AI tools, there are many AI tools that I use. For example, the thumbnail of this video is created by hotspot.ai, which helps me to create a proper thumbnail with lot of features in it. And then many of the presentation that I create are from pop.ai, many of the documentation that I create are from ChatGPT. So there are many AI tools that I use, there are many AI tools that my friends use, and then many extensions that people use, right? So first thing is that get a hang of those tools. What will happen after that is that you'll have a lot of work and you'll realize your potential, right? Because what I have seen, see, this is not my first time I'm discussing this topic, that will AI take your job, and I've seen people getting stubborn on this. No, my work is quite complex and I don't think AI can do this. And the only reason they say things like that is because they don't know the capability of it. They don't see the capability of it, what it can do, right? They're just limited to ChatGPT. But just look for some AI tools that you can use in your daily life. Look for some tools that can analyze data for you, and then you realize, okay, what strength AI does, and it will actually help you make a decision whether your job is secure or not. Because see, I am seeing a lot of things, you will be hearing some things, but you will be ignoring most of the things. But if you'll experience it yourself, then you will be things will become quite clear for you. First thing what you have to do, experience some AI tools. It will help you get more productive. It will give you a good idea of what is going in industry, and it will give you a good idea of what strength AI has. Next thing is that if you can, and if you have a capability of a little bit of financial as well, but majorly time and dedication. If you have a time and a dedicated mind, try to switch into a AI role. That is the best option that you can do. Try to switch into a AI role. AI boom is going currently. There was a post that I saw that whether the buzz is off, like whether it was a data science boom or something like a bubble that was forming on. It's nothing like that. It will be always there. It's just core learning thing that you're learning to make machine learning model. You're learning to you're trying to understand mathematics behind machine learning model. You're trying to learn statistics. You're building application that uses the artificial intelligence. That thing is not a bubble, it's an actual reality. People are doing it, people are making money out of it, people are making startups completely based on that. So how it can be a bubble? So first thing, try to experience AI tool. Next thing, if possible, try to switch to AI roles. When I say AI roles, guys, it ranges from business analyst, a data analyst, a data engineer, data scientist, machine learning engineer, which is my current role, MLOps engineer, DevOps engineer. I will also include in this, although DevOps is completely different from AI, but again, that is also important aspects of industry today. So try to switch to these roles, right? AI engineer, prompt engineer, right? Try to switch those kind of roles where you are using most trending thing out there, most elegant thing out there, right? So that is the most important advice of this complete video. Try to switch to AI roles. It will help you a lot. You can start right now. Don't think people are already becoming data scientists, so what's the use of it? It's not like that. It will be there. It's a core learning thing. See, there are many topics out there which are not that popular, but still people learn them because they are the foundation stone of something bigger, right? For example, in machine learning there's a topic called linear regression. We never use it in actual industrial application, but when you will sit in an interview, most questions that will be answered in case of data science or machine learning engineer, it will be from linear regression. Why? Because that is a fundamental thing. If you don't know that, nobody is expecting you to know anything else, right? So that's the idea. There would be repetitive things, there would be fundamental things, but you have to spend time there because those are important to understand the bigger things. So try to switch to AI role. That would be a second suggestion. Next would be next thing, and these are quite general suggestion now, is that don't look for stability and look for upskill and excellence. Thing is, if you are looking to learn something and the thought you have in the back of your mind is that okay, I'll learn this particular skill and then I'll be safe for two or 3 years or 5 years, it's not going to happen. The speed at which technology is developing right now, it's going at an exponential rate. By the time you learn one thing, other thing will be already there in research phase, and by the time you will become an expert in one thing, there would be a new thing out there in the market. And it's completely true, right? People were quite learning the computer vision models, a deep learning model or CNN models, and they were completely everywhere. You will see image recognition or image classification or video interpretation, these kind of models. And then suddenly OpenAI launched ChatGPT, and everyone is trying to learn generative AI, right? So that is the idea, right? That you cannot look for stability in today's time. If you aim for stability, you will always feel bad because there's no stability in technology itself. So how you can expect that stability in your job, right? So it will be better if you will look for roles that promises recent technology and development as well, right? For example, if you're working as a machine learning engineer, if you're working as a data analyst, let's say, so currently let's say you're working on Power Apps, which is quite a strong feature of Power BI, and then try to look for project in your own company first of all, that whether can you work on new technologies as well, right? Those kind of stability you can create where you are remaining in the same organization but you are looking for better projects, right? And in the learning aspects, you cannot stop. You have to learn daily. Always keep yourself enrolled in one of the other courses, guys. You can watch free courses. There is not insisting you to buy some of the courses. It's up to you, but there should be one class that you're having each day, either in the morning or evening or whatever time you have. You should be upskilling yourself. There's no limit to it, okay? So try to look for good courses, try to look for a good vibe of instructor. You feel comfortable with someone. I'm myself an instructor, I myself been a student as well, so I know the importance of instructor and student vibe match. So if you can find some courses, just enroll in them and keep learning, right? Because that should never stop, because technology is never going to stop improving, right? Last thing would be more creative and focus on human skills. Now this is a different kind of thing. It's kind of a general thing, is that focus on human skills, focus on your communication, focus on how you can convince people, negotiation. There are many things out there, right? And try to pick up one of these skills and try to improve them. You can read books about them, you can watch podcasts about them. So yeah, and this will actually boost your creativity as well. You remember I talked one thing that AI cannot do is out of the box thinking, and that out of the box thinking will come up if you have a lot of ideas, if you opened up your mind, right? Try to open up your mind, and the best way to open up your mind is to engage with people, talk to people, right? Get some creative ideas and read books and podcasts as well. So all of those things will help you open up your mind, good ideas, right? It will make you productive, and that is the way to save your job these days. So now let me summarize these things for you. I have discussed, I think, a lot of things. We have extended a lot of time in this video, but let me summarize this for you. AI will take your job if you're not improving yourself. And first of all, AI will not take your job. A guy who is making an AI will take your job. Okay, this is the most important thing, guys. A person who is building artificial intelligence algorithm, a person who is deploying that AI algorithm, a person who is doing the research on how to build that algorithm, that person will take your job, right? Not a machine will take your job. Machine is just a way, machine is just a deployment that they have created. So it's better for you, again I'm emphasizing on these things, it's better for you to switch your roles to those kind of jobs. It will help you a lot, but it will take time. So even if you're not starting out right now, You can just start building one hobby at a time. And the first hobby, if I would say, if I have to suggest one thing, it would be to start using AI tools in your daily role. Just look for Instagram reels. There will be some reel that will give you idea about 10 AI tools that will save your life, 10 AI tools that will make you, 5 times more productive. Try to see them, try to just look through them, what they say is, what they contain, and it will give you a good idea. And then of course you can opt for courses, which will be my first suggestion. So that was it, guys. I hope you got your answer whether your job is safe or not. Again, there is no yes or no answer. Just watch the video again and just take out the points, okay, whether your job falls in a risky zone or not. AI can make codes for you, that is a big thing, but it has to be told what code it has to make. It has to be told the restriction. It has to be it has to be synced with the other code. There are many aspects out there, but that will require you to upskill yourself. That will require you to the idea that you think that AI cannot execute. So that execution, if you want to learn that execution, that will require you to upskill yourself. And then again, that brings you to getting enrolled into courses and reading or watching podcasts or engaging with high-end community. So yeah, it completes the circle, I guess. I assume that you got your answer. If you didn't get your answer, you can ping me over LinkedIn. I'll tell you your answer, that whether your job is safe or not. And I'll ping my LinkedIn details in the description of a video. My name is Shumakir Sarvaiya. I'm an instructor. I teach data science, machine learning, Python. You can watch my previous video on this channel as well. And then you can connect with me on LinkedIn. I am currently working as a machine learning engineer. I worked previously as a data scientist and a data analyst. And I know a lot about this field. I'll say that thing frankly out there. I know a lot of things about data science, and I might not be most technically skilled data scientist, but I know a lot about this field as a career. Okay, so you can connect with me. You can ask a question in the comment section. You can connect directly on my LinkedIn profile. And yeah, happy learning, and stay updated, and keep learning yourself. And don't worry, AI will not disrupt your life if you use it properly, but it surely can improve your life if you use it in a most smartest way. Thank you.